are back. Girl, we are back with another mom chat, girl chat, chit chat, girl, all the things, okay? Oh my gosh, like I love doing these type of videos with you guys. Girls, I am so sorry. I'm gonna go ahead and apologize in advance, okay? Gonna go ahead and apologize in advance because, girl, we are all done up, baby. We are done up. This is what we're wearing. We are wearing a mom fit, girl, because you know I'm gonna throw the word mom in front of everything, okay? We have on our little Tory Burch. We have on our, wristwear. We have on our mom two-piece set, girl, and we are here. We are present, girl. We are here to do all the things. I hate that I couldn't have made this video like a traditional sit-down video with you guys. You know, if you caught part one of our what I wish I knew as a mom, what I wish I knew before becoming a mom, what I wish somebody would have told me, things that I found out post, becoming a mom, things I would have known like all along, girl, all the things, girl, that is what we're here talking about. I am so excited, girl. If you're new here, girl, it's Bianca, your favorite 31-year-old mom of two little toddler boys. Okay, girl, and we are back. Babes, if any part of the video resonates with you, baby girl, do not hesitate to hit that like button, okay? Go ahead and share the video, subscribe, girl, because we're gonna have quality content coming out, girl, every single week, baby girl, okay? Hope that you loves are doing something to feel good about yourselves today, because I know I am, girl. Without further ado, let's get into it, baby. Girl, I think we are so on par to start point number one, girl, which is, babes, go ahead and add an additional 40 minutes to an hour to whatever it is that you're finna plan to do to get out the house. Babe, just go ahead and add an additional 45 minutes to an hour. Like, I've always been the type of person to be like a really prompt individual. So if you tell me 3 o'clock, babes, I'm gonna be there at 3 o'clock. Now let me confirm, I've never been the type of individual to be like 30 minutes early to something or like 15 minutes early to something. Like, no, that has not been me. I'm not even gonna lie, but babe, if we say 3 o'clock, I'm going to line up whatever it is that I have to do to get there by 3 o'clock, okay? And like, I've just always been that type of person. I've just always been like a really punctual person. And I think that, like with having kids, you really just kind of learn to slow down, okay, girl? I can't even say if you are just learning to slow down or if it's just naturally you just have to slow down. I mean, when you're getting ready to in the morning, in the afternoon, let's go to a birthday party. Right now we're about to get ready to go to a family member's birthday party, girl, whatever, it doesn't matter, to go out the door to Walmart, to go to Dollar General, to take the kids to school in the morning. Like, you really have to slow down. And you got to think about it. You're brushing Jace's teeth, you're gargling for Jace, you're washing his face, you're putting his white t-shirt on, you're making sure he's good to go out the door, you're brushing Tatum's teeth, you are gargling for Tatum, or you're sitting there making sure his hygiene is on the up and up for that morning. You are putting on his white t-shirt, you're washing his face, you're putting on his clothes, or at least setting them out, because girl, Tatum is 5, so he can put on his own clothes. Then you have to turn around and do the same thing for yourself. Or a lot of moms, kind of, hold on girl, we're washing our face. Or a lot of moms like to wake up in the morning time and just get like additional, time for themselves. I mean, all of that just cuts into your sleep time. I mean, just whatever works for you. I've just really learned to slow down. And that used to really frustrate me at first, because I've always been the type of person that's like on go, 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 like doing every task as quickly as possible. And girl, just rushing for no reason. Not even realizing, like, it's literally like that's who I was. So, just having kids, you just kind of learn to slow down, and it comes naturally and it comes progressively, because if you're like me, you're always rushing your kids, everything is always rushed, every task is always rushed. So then you're, being short with your kids, then you are, just being really impatient, right? And that may come out in a lot of different ways. That may come out in yelling, that may come out in stress, that may come out yelling and stress, or you're stressed, so therefore you're yelling. Okay, and then you get to thinking about, like, do I really want to be just like yelling at my kids like that? All because I'm rushing or I feel like, you know, we need to like really hurry up. Girl, and no, you don't. I mean, girl, there were so many days where I, you know, just felt like a bad mom, and I've honestly come so far, but it was because I was constantly rushing to do things, and I was constantly rushing my kids to do things. And every now and again, like if I'm not breathing, if I'm not constantly like in my mind, like these are kids, you know, these are my kids, I love them, you know, remember the last time, you know, you were rushing, or, you know, you guys didn't get out of the door by a certain time that you thought or felt like you should have, and then you felt like a bad mom when you went to bed that night. So I'm constantly like thinking about all of those things. I'm breathing, I'm being patient, I'm trying to show grace. I also don't want to be rushing them so much, the boys, to where they feel nervous and they're jittery and they're, you know, not able to focus and lock in really on what it is that mommy's asking them to do, all because I'm rushing them, you know? Like, I've gotten so good at it now. I can look at the clock and be like, okay, if it's 11, then it's gonna take me 40 minutes to an hour to get all of us dressed in the morning time, and that's just if the kids don't have to take a bath that morning, you know. That is including me taking a bath, but not shaving or anything like that, you know. And then I can be like, okay, it takes us 15 minutes to get there from my house to wherever part, you know, wherever we're going to, and then just add an additional 5 to 7 minutes onto that drive time, right? So just creating like wiggle room, margin of error, right? Just giving yourself some grace. And then, you know, like when we get there, or like today, I need to stop and get a birthday present, so obviously that's going to be time tacked on. And I've just been the type of person, I always used to like to just be on time for things. And so what I've learned since then as well is just that, girl, it's okay if you're a little bit late. You know, I've just always been the type of person to really respect people's time. And so, you know, and I think that's because I like my time to be like respected. I like people to, you know, adhere to, you know, whatever date that we scheduled, what time, what date that we scheduled to, you know, whatever. I think, again, guys, this is just who I am. So like, you know, I just hate being late. I just like being on time. I don't necessarily have to be like early. So, wow, this stuff is like really burning my eyes. I'm trying to talk to y'all. Let me get this stuff out of my eyes. And so now to any like function, to whatever it is, girl, like if I am 15 minutes to 20 minutes late, girl, I am so cool with it, because that means that I didn't go off on my children. I didn't go off on anybody. That means I didn't rush myself. That means that, you know, it was just a thing about being efficient. Like, I feel like if I wasn't, you know, on time, I feel like I wasn't like utilizing my time adequately. I feel like I just wasn't being efficient. And girl, I know I know what you're saying. Why do you need to be efficient? Why do you need to be like time efficient? Why do you need to be like maximizing your time, or, you know, whatever on a Saturday? Girl, again, I don't know. I don't know. It's just who I am, girl. I'm just wired like that. And I know that they can get on a lot of people's nerves. Yeah, babes.
Can we eat some blueberries?
Y'all already ate blueberries. No, because when we go to the birthday party, you boys are going to eat at the birthday party, okay?
Okay. Whose birthday is it? CJ's. Guys, well, hello, boys. Today is CJ's birthday.
Today's CJ's birthday?
Yep, and Riley's birthday.
Who?
Riley's birthday.
Who? Also, you have to like make time to like love on your kids. So like one kid may be having a complete meltdown while you're getting ready, you know. And so like previously, you know, I would like rush them, you know, like through that time, or just be like insensitive in that time, because it's just like, what are you crying for right now, you know? But they're kids, okay? They're kids, they're human, they're gonna cry. They, you know, don't really have full control over their emotions. But yeah, like I would be the type of individual that if I didn't make it there on time, like by a certain time, or by like the time I thought or felt that I should have made it there, then girl, that would have been a problem. I would have felt, I don't know. And of course right now I'm talking to you, girl, so you know, obviously we're going to be running a little bit behind, but by the time I do make it there, girl, I just could only hope that you understand, or whoever it is understands, that I'm 15 minutes late, girl. And I feel so good, because pretty much by the time I make it there, everybody else has already made it there or is just now making it there. So really I'm actually on time because the rest of the world is normally behind schedule. And so now I just kind of like fall into the litter of just being a little bit behind. And so then, you know, I'm relaxed. I show up with good energy, good vibes, my aura is good, you know, I'm ready to get started for whatever it is that we're doing, girl. And it makes me feel good. So I think that, you know, that's definitely a plus, but that's definitely something that I had to learn, you know, becoming a mom. And this is early on too, because even when you're just becoming a mom, right, you're getting the baby together, the baby's like really small, so the diapers are really small, the clothes are really small, the baby's like fragile, like everything is just different. You slow down overall as a mom. When you have kids, if you're thinking about kids, if you want to have kids, if you already had kids, girl, let me know. Comment down below. Everything about your life slows down. All right, girl, let me get into the shower. Okay, loves, please ignore the mound of clothes that are on the bed behind me. Haven't gotten there yet. Completely makes perfect sense for what we're even talking about right now. Like, all the chores are staggered, babe. Like, everything does not have to be done at one time. So I think that this is a good segue into point number 2 from point number 1, which is just slowing down and just learning in life that everything, you know, just momhood teaching me just to slow down, just, you know, in general. So like point number 2 is just having staggered chores and knowing that everything doesn't have to be done at one time. So in the middle of me adding 40 minutes to whatever it is, you know, just the time to get out of the door, right, included in that 40 minutes, girl, I'm doing so many other things. Like, just now, I, you know, from the Instacart that we got delivered earlier today, I unpacked the groceries. I put the groceries up. I went ahead and started on the meatloaf, and then I went ahead and started on the spaghetti. Then I went ahead and put the dishes in the dishwasher, and then the boys, it was time for them to eat because they hadn't eaten since like breakfast this morning. So then I went ahead and warmed them up some mixed veggies and mashed potatoes. Girl, they love mixed veggies and mashed potatoes. An easy way for me to like mix them in some vegetables. I went ahead and let them eat independently today because normally I feed them or at least in between what I'm doing, I just make sure that I am able to, you know, make sure that they get spoonfuls of food in their mouth and that the food doesn't land up on the floor or the chair or wherever else it could end up. And I know that that's everything that you ladies probably already know. I'm just talking to the ladies who need to feel heard, who need to feel like they're not, you know, going crazy. And I think that's why, you know, creating, you know, starting this channel was so important to me, because like it was so important for me to know and see that there were other women out there just like me. It's just interesting to see like how other people do things in life, you know, like what are the moms cooking, what are the moms doing, how do the moms, you know, juggle it all, how do the moms, you know, get everything done. So now we have food ready. So whether the family wants to eat that food today, which is Saturday, and tomorrow, right, and then tomorrow I pick back up on another meal, and then that meal lasts for Sunday and then Monday, and then at Monday or Tuesday I'll think about cooking something else. So that's pretty much how the timeline works as far as like, you know, food. I hope that last clip wasn't too dark because I never talk to y'all in the room because the lighting is bad. But girl, just being able to do one thing at a time, I think it's a fine balance. It's a fine balance that you learn because it can be frustrating when you're unable to get everything done, but then it can be like super overwhelming when, you know, the floor needs to be swept, then it needs to be vacuumed, then it needs to be mopped. Girl, I am here to give the girls the tea, literally. This is just a healthy mom community, okay? We don't pit each other apart on this channel, girl. We just have healthy dialogue, healthy conversation. And so like in between all of that, then I am putting loads of laundry in. So after or while the boys are like eating their food, then, you know, I'm making sure that the laundry routine cycle keeps going, okay? Because like there's no such thing as you just stop. When you stop, everything just like piles up. And some days, babes, some days there is a pile up, okay? Some days there is a pile up, and I think that that goes, you know, hand in hand with what we're talking about. Just realizing and being okay with slowing down and knowing that everything doesn't have to, you know, get done all in one day, in 1 hour, in one setting. That, you know, if you have Friday afternoon, Saturday, and Sunday, and again, this is for the working moms, you know, don't know what it's like for the stay-at-home moms, but I'm sure you guys have, you know, some sort of routine or schedule, because girl, how is it getting done without a routine or without a schedule? And so now that the stuff is in the oven, you know, I've set that for an hour, and it's always so easy to just put stuff in the oven. So like if I'm cooking something, obviously it's so easy to do like a crock pot meal. It's so easy to, you know, like put something, set it and forget it, okay? Put it in the oven, let it cook for an hour, and then you have an hour to do whatever else it is that you need to do. Whether that is, you know, begin folding the laundry that you just washed and dried, whether that is, you know, helping your kids with their homework, flashcards, or, you know, if you're a young mom, maybe it's, you know, washing the bottles, or, you know, whatever that looks like for you. But I definitely learned to slow down, and I definitely learned to stagger my chores. It helps me, and it breaks up the time, it breaks up the task, it breaks up the day. That way I just don't get overstimulated or just like too much at one time. Sometimes the day may look like, okay, in the morning time, this is what I'm doing, and then I carve out time to film, and then I take the boys to the park, and then we come back, and then we have a little bit of educational time, and then we do cleaning, and then I'm cooking, and while the food is cooking, and then, you know, I have a little time to myself to take a shower, you know, whatever it is. So girl, that's also something that I learned, and if I'm not careful, I still have to like catch myself with it today. Girl, that leads me to the third point. Babes, you do not need a million gadgets to be a mom, okay? I'm the one who said it. Like, you do not need a million gadgets to be a mom. I remember, now keep in mind, y'all, I got a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old, okay? 5-year-old and a 3-year-old. So when I was researching, you know, going down YouTube University, researching everything about becoming a mom and all the new gadgets, because I'm sure it's changed since then. But I remember, like, one of the big things was like the baby breezer machine. Like, it was like a milk warming Keurig machine for like that, like prepped in like major bottles, right? So that you wouldn't have to like mix the formula and the water like by hand. Okay, hold on, do I get it together with the outfit? Okay, somebody bought that on the registry, and then like you just go down the rabbit hole of like, you know, do I need the organic, non this, non that, you know, butt cream or like diaper rash cream, and do I need glass bottles, or do I need Dr. Bronner's, or do I need Dr. Bronner's glass, or do I need the regular Dr. Bronner's bottles, or do I need Tommy Tippy, do I need the silicone, like, you know, like little squishy ones, you know, so that we're saving the environment. Like, you know, you just go down this rabbit hole of, you know, things that you need, and just all these things that you're researching. Do I need the Click Connect? Do I need, you know, what's the other one? Like the Chico brand of like car seat and stroller. Do I need the Forever, you know, the Life Extend, you know, the car seat where you can sit in it as an infant, and then it switches to like a toddler, and then it switches to like, you know, a young kid, like then it turns into like a booster seat. You just go down this rabbit hole of like all these things that you need. I remember like researching like which formula did I want, you know, my kids to have, and then I remember like Tatum was on like the Enfamil Sensitive Neuro Pro, and you freak out about stuff like that because you're like, wow, you know, you want your kid to obviously have whatever, you know, is going to help their eyesight and brain development, you know, whatever's going to get them like a leg up, you know what I'm saying? Let me tell you something, you don't need a million gadgets to be a mom. The minute the baby comes out, the baby's already good. The baby's already going to like be in good hands because you're the mom, you have the baby, you carried the baby, and you are going to always do whatever's in like the best interest for you and your kids. So like whatever you feel, that's what you're gonna do. Like whatever you can afford, whatever you have the means for, whatever you have the help and assistance with, that's what you're gonna do and provide and give to your baby. Like the baby's already gonna be so loved. It's just something that like clicks, like it just happens. Like you already know what to do. You already know how to love and nurture and warm and soothe, like, you know. And obviously you learn along the way. You learn so many things along the way, like just like your baby learns so many different things about you, right? If you want like a video that was like, you know, top 5 things that, you know, I recommend, you know, for new moms, like I already mentioned like what formula I liked. And then, you know, Jace, he used a completely different formula. Like I did breastfeed with both of them. I breastfed until it didn't make sense to breastfeed anymore. And you know, that's different for every mom. Every mom doesn't have the same milk supply. There are some moms that I know whose milk supply, they filled up an entire like freezer, and there are some moms like me who like couldn't even really produce milk, right? So you get the colostrum, you give them the colostrum, you give them what you can, if that's what you choose to do. And then when it's time to feed the baby more, when the baby starts getting more hungry, when the baby starts getting more hungry more frequently than you're able to produce milk, sis, then let's go ahead and start supplementing, okay? Like we have to do what makes sense and like not stress ourselves out as moms. But if you guys want a video on, you know, just kind of like top products or like my most helpful, most recommended products, you know, for, you know, having kids, having babies, you know, whatever it is, girl, just leave a little like orange heart emoji, okay? Because the outfit is orange, and just let me know if you guys want that video. That way I can know that that's something that you actually want, something that you actually need. But girl, you don't need a million gadgets. Did y'all drink y'all water? So after doing all of that research, I think I just decided to go with the brand Graco, and then I stuck with Graco from there. And I used Graco as a kid, so Graco was mighty fine, baby. I am still here, still alive, and that is a well-trusted brand. I got the infant car seat in Graco. It was gifted to me, and then from there, then I got the extend to fit. So I got a couple of different car seats and, you know, infant chairs and infant seats and all of that, but it was all under the Graco house, and we could talk about that if you want to, girls. Just let me know. I did get the baby breezer, and then when it came down to the baby breezer, girl, like I told y'all in the last video, like when you're in an apartment, like the crying, that was really giving me a lot of anxiety, especially when the baby is like really young and he's having to wake up like multiple times a night. So you're feeding, you know, quite frequently, every hour and a half, every hour, you know, 2 hours, whatever, throughout the night. Girl, you do not have time to sit and wait for your baby breezer machine to, you know, kick on. It's just like a Keurig. You don't have time to wait for the temperature to warm up and then, you know, get your bottle, put it in there. So you're constantly filling it up, and then you have to like clean the machine like every 3 bottles. I remember it would be like 2 in the morning and Tatum screaming, yelling in the bedroom, right? He's hungry, and I'm in here trying to put more formula into the top of the dispenser. I hear do-do-do, then it's time to clean the machine. Girl, you do not have time for all of that when it's 2 in the morning and the baby is hollering and your neighbors are upset, baby, because they just want to go to sleep. You don't have time for that. That's a luxury. That's not a must-have, because girl, it got to the point where I was just hand making the bottles. Get a little bottle, 6-ounce bottle, 8-ounce bottle, fill it up 4 ounces with water, fill it up, you know, 8 ounces with water, 2 scoops, shake it up, boom, 4 scoops, shake it up, boom. It's already room temperature. It's already having the baby water that the baby needs. Pick that up from Target, boom, that's done. 5 minutes or less. Now my kid is not screaming as long. His hernia has gone down, and my neighbors can slowly go back to sleep, girl. So not every gadget and gadget is a must-have. Some of those things are just a luxury, and some of those are not even like necessarily a must-have, must-need luxury, girl. Again, we are here to lift each other up. Not everyone's parenting is gonna look the same, but as for me and my kids, like the kids need to be around other kids, okay? Like kids need to learn social skills. Kids need to, you know, have certain, you know, fine motor skills. Kids need to just kind of be in a children like around other kids, like be in that type of environment. I guess what I'm saying is, you know, I saw leaps and bounds. Like I saw such large leaps and differences when, you know, Tatum finally was able to start daycare. Again, girl, Tatum is a pandemic baby. He was born in 2020. So during that time, everything was shut down. Like even when I had Tatum in the hospital, you know, and I guess I referenced Tatum a lot because he was my firstborn, Tatum was at home with me. So we were working from home. I was working from home in Georgia in our 1 little bedroom apartment. Girl, y'all are gonna hear about that bedroom a lot. That 1 bedroom apartment a lot. I think it would be, you know, more meaningful if I just said the type of job that I do have. Girl, basically I'm stuck to the computer all day like a zombie, okay? Like I'm stuck to the computer all day like a zombie. The things that I need to be able to sit and to focus in peace for hours at a time. I need to review things for accuracy for, you know, months, years, quarters at a time. I have to be able to train and develop other individuals, pay attention to what they're doing, you know, make sure that it's accurate, make sure that I'm giving, you know, sound feedback. It doesn't need to be a lot of noise in the background. You know, I can go on and on and on and on. So basically from when Tatum was born until like a little bit past like, you know, 1 year old, he was at home with me in our 1 bedroom apartment, sitting on the floor, watching TV while I worked. It was such a, I don't want to say regretful. Regretful is not the word, because obviously I was so blessed to have been in that situation where I could work from home, where I did, you know, still have a job. Like the type of work that I do, girl, I could do it in Abu Dhabi, okay? I say that all the time. I saw leaps and bounds when we actually did put Tatum in school. And, you know, so when the daycares did open back up, I enrolled him because, you know, it's not a good feeling to be a mom and to have a baby that young and to not be able to attend to the baby. I was not able to teach him ABCs, to read to him, like to help him with his colors, like to start doing like those introductory type of things. Girl, no, I was not able to do any of that. And you know, like that stuff really affected me. It really bothered me because one, it makes you feel ineffective, okay? Word of the chit chat, word of the mom chat, ineffective. And it makes you, you know, feel like you're putting something else above your child, in which in today's world, just the way my life is set up, the way, you know, God is orchestrating things for me, babes, I have to work. Okay? I have to work. Work is how I have insurance. Work is how my kids are able to, you know, have doctor visits. Work is how I'm able to, you know, have health care benefits myself. Work is how I'm able to have these clear aligners in my mouth right now, girl, you know, all of that. So I very much so have to work. And at that time, Tatum's grandparents were also working. So just the way life is set up, there was nobody in our lives able to just put their life on reserve and just pour into Tatum like, you know, I needed. Tatum was not saying physical words. Tatum was not talking for a very long time. I remember Tatum was almost like, no, I mean, he was like 18 months, right? He was like 18 months. He was not even saying like, he was not forming full words. He was not saying words. He was not trying to utter a word. He was not. He kind of really didn't understand what I was trying to tell him. He didn't understand instruction. He didn't, like, if you like told him like, hey, go pick that yellow ball up over there, he didn't really understand. That means a lot. Like if it's only you and one other person in the house, like majority of the time, like if kids have like other siblings in the house at that time, then they're hearing language being spoken. They're hearing of different ages. They're able to see other kids do things. So then they're trying to mimic those actions. They're trying to do those things, right? When a kid is around other kids, you get to kind of just like piggyback off of, you know, what that kid is doing. And so your child just like develops and learns, you know, easier and in my opinion, you know, more quickly. And so I remember, you know, we took them to the pediatrician and you know, they were just telling us, you know, compared to the other percentiles and, you know, this and that, you know, this is where Tatum was, you know, he wasn't speaking, you know, they try to make you feel like, you know, hey, we may need to start looking out for autism, you know, all of that. Girl, put the child in school. Put the child in a learning center. Find a good daycare. Find a quality learning center. They even had, in Atlanta, they had private daycares. So I don't even know what that is. And so once I put Tatum in school, it helped a ton. It relieved anxiety for me. And, you know, it felt it made me feel like I was actually doing something good for my kid, for my child, for my baby. He was learning, he was around other kids, he was interacting. You know, a little bit of time after that, I started Tatum in speech therapy. Speech therapy helped a ton. If you guys want to hear, you know, more exclusively about that, or specifically about that, girl, just again, leave that orange heart down below, girl. Let me know, and I'll do a video on that. I know there's like a lot of talk around, you know, homeschooling your kids, keeping your kids at home, teaching your kids yourself, you know. But babes, when you have a situation like mine, and there are some moms that are out here working 2 and 3 jobs, and parents and families and couples out here working 2 and 3 jobs, and, you know, not even necessarily able to pour into their kids like they need to. So let me be clear, I'm never saying that, you know, the learning institution or the school should take the place of the parent or the mom, you know, to be the nurturer, to teach back, to give back, to help their kids learn into things like that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is instead of stressing yourself out, instead of your kid being behind, instead of your kid not having any social skills, if you find a quality learning center where the teachers are, you know, inspired, motivated, want to help the kids learn, they like being around kids, you know, they enjoy what it is that they're doing, you see results, babe. I saw results, like when the kids finally started going to school, even Jace, like when I moved them from one learning center to where they are now, you know, it cost a little bit more, but girl, they came home with, in like a month and a half later, learning their colors in Spanish. They knew, you know, more numbers. They knew just like all the things. And so it's those type of things. That's what you work for as a mom. I can't teach the kids colors in Spanish, I mean, without me having to learn it myself. Girl, I took
French in high school.
You need outside sources. You need resources. We need help. And baby, they exist. I'm never going to knock the mom who, you know, wants to homeschool their kid, who wants to, you know, for their kids to be at home with them. And then they structure their days, you know, with outside play and whatever like that. Everybody is not graced to do the same thing. Okay, so one, let's acknowledge that. And two, for those of us who are not, where that's not necessarily the peak or the height of our calling, babe, find a good learning center, put your kid in the learning center, and just work with your kid at home further based upon what they're doing in school. And that's what I did. So whatever they were working on in school, and they told me Tatum had like a trouble area, you know, we put them in speech therapy. Whatever they were working on in speech therapy, I took those homework exercises back home and worked with him. Made sure that when I talked to him, I really enunciated and pronounced my words, and I was very articulate, and I made sure that I slowed down when I talked to him. I started showing him and pointing and touching to things when I talked to him, so that way he began to identify and learn, you know, direction. And so then when Jace came along, baby, I didn't have to do none of that. Like, Jace was potty trained early. Y'all, leave an orange heart if you want a video on potty training. Jace was potty trained early. He was already talking because Tatum was talking. He was already more interactive and more social because Tatum was being, you know, socialized. This was a pandemic baby in 2020 that we're talking about. He was around nobody. Tatum saw nobody else other than me for like so long. Like, people were not traveling during the pandemic. We were down in Atlanta in a 1-bedroom apartment, just me and the baby. Like, I cannot stress that to people enough. In my case, it was very beneficial for me to put my kid in a learning center, and I didn't regret it from day one. It gave us a break. It gave mom and baby a break. Again, I'm a solo mom. It gave us a break, and he was able to interact, socialize, learn, develop, have outside play. You know, he was able to eat regularly, whereas I'm at work and I'm having to stop. I'm getting frustrated. I'm not able to pour in like I want to. I'm not being really productive on the job, you know, or I'm being short with employees. Girl, all the things. We encourage, okay? We don't tear each other apart. I'm just letting you girls know what worked for me and what works for so many other moms. And if you feel that you want to do all of that at home as well, then babes, we applaud and we appreciate that too, okay? Next point. We have the gift secured, girl, and I'm just gonna share our last little tip with you, girl, for this little mom chat chit chat that we have going on, girl, and that is
Get them kids something to do, okay?
Baby, give them kids something to do. And what do I mean by that? That means that while mom is mopping, sweeping, putting clothes in the washer, picking up clothes off the floor, putting them in a dirty clothes pile, you know, dusting while, you know, we are cleaning the bathroom, cleaning the bathtub, you know, cleaning the kids' room. Like, include the kids like where you can. Give them something to do. And this is like so important. I saw somewhere else where like someone was more like giving more of like an academic approach, you know, letting us know, wow, I literally just made a whole semicircle when I could have just went out at the light up there. Okay. You know, I saw somewhere else where they were giving like more of a scholarly explanation. You know, they were just saying that, you know, it creates accountability, you know, within our children and stuff like that, to kind of like give them something to do. We just pulled up to the birthday party. Girl, I'm gonna go in, have a good time with family. It's always a good time when you can be with family. Girl, I just wanted to say, give them kids something to do. Like, there's no reason you as a mom should be cleaning up, picking up all the, now I'm talking about, okay, now, we're not talking about infants no more. Like right now my kids are 3 and 5, so babes, there's no way I am going in their room and picking up their room for them and they're sitting down in the front room watching Peppa Pig. No. Let's make this a collaborative effort. Let's make this a group effort, okay? Like, how about you guys come in and help mommy? So yeah, I will sit on the bed and I will allow them, not make them, I will allow them to pick up their toys off the floor, put their superhero capes up on the hook, pick their superhero masks up off the, you know, floor, put them on the hook. I will absolutely allow them to pick up their stuff off the floor and put, you know, all of their things, you know, inside of the toy box. Like, my kids love to help out, like, and that's the thing, like, so you're also, you know, including them while giving them direction, making them pay attention to things, making them focus on things, right? Because if the left sock is over here and the right sock is over here, then babe, you need to pick up both socks, you know, two as a pair. If you're a dad watching this, solo dad, whatever, if you're a solo mom watching this, let's just make sure that we take the onus and responsibility and do our due diligence and make sure that we are not raising individuals that are not, you know, impactfully contributing to the world, right? We need Black males out here to complete families and to be fathers and to be leaders and to be, you know, representatives to hear from God so that they can lead, provide, protect, okay, love, and do all the things, because dads can nurture too, okay? And we absolutely need moms out here to be nurturers, to be lovers, to be teachers, to be patient, kind, give grace, but to also discipline, okay? Because we can do that, babes. And if I'm sweating, girl, y'all already know the whole spiel. So I think that it was giving like some whole like spiel academically about like how, you know, your kids can learn like accountability and, you know, this and that, and I'm sure that they can. I'm sure that's obviously like the proper term for it, but I give my kids something to do, because like, you're not about to be sitting on the couch with your feet laid back, chilled up, kicking it, you know, while I'm picking up everything, while I own all the responsibility, while I, you know, I know how to clean, okay? Baby, my daddy woke me up every Saturday, okay? And some of y'all had to clean the dust boards and dust the fans and all of that every single day before y'all were even able to like walk out the house. So yeah, we already know, babes, I already know how to clean. Those are the implemental like things and stages where we can begin introducing our kids, you know, teaching them, allowing them to be able to pick up on, you know, like the little things, right? Hey, do you see that toy over there in the corner underneath the pillow behind the curtain? Yeah, go pick it up. Hey, do you see where you left your drink bottle on the dresser behind the bag, the empty bag of Dorito chips? Yeah, get both of them and go throw it away, right? So if we're not teaching them at these, you know, incremental levels, like these are pivotal, you know, times. If we are not teaching them as parents, right, then babes, shame on us. My kids are always so helpful. Like my kids always want to jump in and help. Like when they see me mopping, like they naturally want to help. And instead of me being like, no, you know, being short, being impatient, telling them to go sit down because I think that they're going to be in the way, like, no, like, I'm like, okay, yeah, let me see you sweep this up. Let me see you do this. Let me see you learn how to, you know, use a broom. Yeah, it does make me slow down. It does make me have to pay attention to what's going on. You know, it does make me have to pay attention to what they're doing. I have to critique them. I have to teach them. I have to say, nope, you missed a spot. Let's go do it again, right? And then when they're done, it doesn't have to be perfect, but when they're done, then babes, I pick up and I resume what it is that I'm supposed to be doing, you know, as a woman in the house, or like, you know, as a mom, you know, because like, do you get what I'm saying? Like don't be the mom that like someone, you know, tells your kid something to do, is like, you know, hey, open the door for ladies, or hey, you know, go empty out the trash, or you know, something like that, and then you're just like, oh, I'll do it, I'll do it. Babe,
Who gonna do it?
babe, no, you definitely gonna do it. Like I'm not gonna do it, you're gonna do it. Especially if it's something that we need to be teaching our young men anyway. Like, again, let's be careful to not be raising, you know, the same men and women that, you know, we're having trouble with in real life, in today's time, okay? Every morning I drop the kids off to daycare. Tatum already knows he's supposed to open that door, okay? Open the door, hold it open all the way, long enough for mommy to walk in the door. And if there's a woman coming in after mommy, open the door for her too. Like, you know, I'm gonna have to start working with them on like opening my car door, and it's not doing too much, guys. And I absolutely understand the moms, especially if you grew up in a big family and you just so happen to have been like the older sibling, and you always had to do everything and kind of like be a parent, like do everything and be everything for everybody, all of your younger siblings. Like I get it, and sometimes if you grew up that way, then you kind of like overcompensate like with your kids, and so you kind of don't want them to have to do that and don't ask them to do anything. I get that, okay? I get that, but let's just make sure we're not handicapping our kids, okay? Our kids absolutely need responsibility. They need chores. If your kid is like 9 and 10, 8, 9 and 10, like 11 and up, for sure your kid needs chores. However, you can include your kid into, you know, whatever it is that you're doing, life skills, babe, that they're going to need to know in life in general anyways. Babes, we should be doing that. Babe, give your kids something to do. Babe, give the children something to do, okay? Like, kids should not be sitting in-house all day long, just watching TV, you know, just up under you, listening to grown folks' business, as my parents would have said, child. Like, that's not what the kids need to be doing. Give the kids something to do, okay? Not all kids are the same. Not all kids have to be active. Not all kids are going to be, you know, intellectually inclined. But, you know, just in general, we do need to at least make sure that our kids, you know, are aware that their room is messy and that they know how to clean up and know how to clean up well enough that meets our expectations and our standards. And babes, we're done here. So I am gonna close this roof because babes, the sun is beaming. Okay, they need to be able to learn how to keep their bathroom clean. They need to at least know how to knock the dishes out, bump the dishes real quick and put them in the dishwasher. Okay, ages 9, 10, 11 and up. Okay, not 10, 11 and up. They need to be able to take out the trash. They need to be able to learn how to water the grass. You know, they need to be able to, like, I mean, whatever. So, and as moms, when we're busy, we're in the groove of things, it's so easy for us to be like, no, get out the kitchen, get out of my way, go into your room, go play. Like, mommy needs some space and time to breathe. For some of us, cleaning is therapeutic. So I completely get that. I understand that, girl. Raise a child up in the ways in which they should go. So if we're abiding by that, you know, then we're raising sound individuals. Then that means that we're raising responsible individuals, accountable individuals, forward thinkers, you know, steadfast individuals, problem solvers, okay? And the list goes on and on and on and on and on. Okay, girl, that is it. That is all. I hate that I couldn't give this video to you guys in a sit down version, okay? I wish that this was like a traditional sit down, you know, in our living room, very intimate, very cozy, you know, chatting it up, mom chat, girl chat, chit chat, girl, all the things. Babes, if you are new here, girl, it's Bianca, okay? Your favorite 31-year-old mom of 2 little toddler boys, okay? Jason Tate, ages 3 and 5. And girl, we are back with another sit down video, girl. If you stayed all the way down to the end, girl, please be sure to comment that orange heart emoji down below. Let me know that you are locked in. Let me know that you enjoyed this content. Let me know that you enjoyed this talk, girl. If you have any questions, comment, tidbit, feedback, leave it, all of that down below. Girl, that is it. I'm about to go into this birthday party, be a mom, be present, be with family, okay? I always love talking to y'all so much. And girl, that is it. That is all. I'll catch y'all in the next one, girl. Peace.